Yeah, no, I.
Sammy's
Wait a
gonna
minute.
get-
Wait. I had Sammy Callahan here, and I told him that we would come here to the Fox and Hound in King of Prussia. You can actually show that to the people out there if you want to. Yeah. King of Prussia, that Fox and Hound, great place, great food.
Place.
Yeah, great place to hang out and see all the great sporting events.
We got all these great sporting events. We got playoff baseball. We got football getting ready to come on. There's
Unbelievable.
bands. There's basketball above our head.
What about the waitresses?
No comment.
No comment. No comment at all. And when I was here with Sammy Callahan, I invited him to dinner, and he bought me dinner.
Sammy bought you dinner.
Yeah, so I just want to lay the rules down here. So
You sure Sammy paid? Like, you sure?
I'll have to check with the server. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who this gentleman is sitting next to me, his name is DJ Hyde, and he's the man currently behind Combat Zone Wrestling, better known as CZW or CZ Dub, as they say.
Yes, I have owned Combat Zone Wrestling for the last 3+ years. And since then, it's been a very wild ride, Bill.
Yeah, so what I wanted to talk about is, now we're going to put this down because it was blocking your face. So what I want to talk about is, in these days of so much TV time with the two big promotions, WWE and TNA, on just about everywhere in the world, how does an independent promotion such as CZW survive in the waters of indie wrestling?
Well, a lot of independents don't survive. They come and they try to be what WWE or TNA or the big places are. CZW has to give fans something different, the alternative. I mean, part of what WWE does is good, but we have to take it to a different level.
Okay.
Whoa.
It's an announcement. Don't worry about it. They can only hear us.
Scares me. But we
actually, I think that was Mr. McMahon. So,
anonymous general managers coming on and telling us about football here. But we have to give fans something different, Bill. It's not everybody likes a certain style. Not everybody likes the WWE or TNA product. Not everybody is a fan of a certain style. The other thing is, a lot of people in the independents need to be exposed to the great wrestling that we have and what we do. And that is what I think we have to do. I think to separate ourselves, to become something that is not what every single person thinks, to make it stand out so people go, oh wow, I do need to see this one way or another. They go, wow, they have amazing matches here, and I can see this guy here that, oh, well, I never get to see a guy like that on WWE, or I'll never see a match like that on TV, but I can see that at CZW.
And now we were talking before this, and you had also mentioned to me that a company like CZW is more up close and personal than the bigger federations.
A lot of fans that give me feedback, and a lot of people I talk to like some of the things that we do. You can actually meet our wrestlers at shows from time to time.
Right.
They're not, I mean, you met Sammy Callahan. Sammy Callahan is one of my wrestlers. Sammy Callahan comes out, he interacts with the crowd, he sells his merchandise, he says hello, you know, he's on Twitter talking to fans, where WWE, it's like, hey, I'm in Wisconsin tonight, or, you know, I'm at, you know, follow, you know, Bill Apter at hashtag this. And it's very impersonal. It's very corporate, and a lot of people don't like that. It's not something.
It's kind of, if I could compare it with going to a huge country music concert at the Wells Fargo Center in Philly, or then seeing a nice, smaller, intimate, close-up performance.
And fans like that.
Fair saying
yeah,
that?
that's very true. I mean, fans like that. I've gone to many wrestling shows, and many. I mean, I've been a wrestling fan for over 30 years now. So one of the things I've always liked about even the independents, even when I broke into the business and when I was little, I mean, I've been going to independents since I was 6. So the first time I went to an independent show, the fact that I got to see some of the guys
What was it? What show?
ECWA, actually.
Really? Okay. Jim Kettner's promotion.
At the time, I grew up about 10 minutes from there.
And that was a great choice because they had fine wrestling there.
Which I am now an ECWA Hall of Famer. Cheap plug for me.
Congratulations.
But yes, Jim Kettner's was there, to where I've gone to WWE events and you're sitting in the Spectrum when I was little. I mean, up in the upper rafters.
It's the big show.
Yeah, and like...
I don't mean the big show. I mean the big show. You know what I mean.
But to me, I loved ECWA and independence more when I was younger, and even now, because of what they did and because of how it came across, and you know, an environment. You know, ECW, and this is not a knock on their product or any of the wrestlers there.
Of course not.
I will tell you, I don't think the wrestling was as good as anything you see on the independents now. I mean, if you compare it to CZW, I will tell you, guys like Sami Callihan and Adam Cole and Masada are what they were back then, 10 times better in-ring performers, but they created an atmosphere at an independent show in a bingo hall of all places that could not be matched by any WWE crowd. Like WrestleMania, it's another WWE show, but the atmosphere, the environment, the things that go on, the accesses and all the other stuff make this an atmosphere that's unlike second to none, and it's so much different than just going to a regular house show or a Raw. And independents do that every show, and that's something that I really love.
Some fans, not fans, some people who don't go to the indies will comment that some of the indies are ultra violent. Now I know CZW used to and still does at times preach ultra violence. So the people explain your rationale for putting on ultra violent shows as well.
Professional wrestling, it's billed as a sport. I mean, we pretty much, as a promoter and not as DJ Hyde the character.
Not sports entertainment. We're talking the indies.
It was billed as a sport. How I was always taught from the beginning, and you're going to probably hear me quote Al Snow, Tommy Dreamer, or Les Thatcher.
That's good.
In this, you're fake fighting another man in your underwear for a living. The most easy thing for people to understand: there's a winner and a loser. The winner gets the winner's share of the purse. Why do I want to beat this guy? I get paid more money.
Right.
I mean, we're watching playoff baseball. Why do these guys want to be in the playoffs? Well, everybody there is making millions of dollars, but in the playoffs, they get bonuses that are insane amounts of money. That's why Ric Flair always wore suits 16 times. Champion, gold around his waist. It was important. And that's the story that guys really had to tell. Now, in CZW, at some point, you build things. WWE does the same thing. Every wrestling promotion does the same thing.
But you build it to a more violent crescendo.
Correct. I mean, if you're in a fight and you have a problem with someone, you know, if this guy took your girl or whatever the issue is, the guy wronged you in a way, and things start escalating and escalating, we might physically have a fist fight. Well, the second time we physically have a fist fight, it's a fight. I don't care. I have to win.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
For whatever purpose, for whatever reason, I will pick up a brick and hit you with it. If I have to beat you, I will do that. If you've wronged me in a certain way that I need to resort to whatever it is, whatever it is, I will. You know, if for whatever the personal issue is, or professional, or
I understand exactly where you're going.
And in our industry, not a lot of people can do what guys like myself, Masada, even Sami Callihan, who me and him we've bled all around the world and done some of the craziest matches you've ever seen against each other.
Actually, I have seen some of them.
I mean, it's one of those things that there's a market for it too, that nobody does it like CZW. We have the guys that do that are the best in the world, but we also have guys that can do the other things. Like Sammy and me, we had an issue for 2 years straight. It had to get to that point. How are you going to make it end? You know, okay, he beats me, I beat him, okay.
But there's got to be that ultra-violent ending, so to say.
Not always, but if it gets to that point, yes.
Yeah.
And business-wise, There's a huge market for that. And every company, I think, realizes that. To what extent they take it to. WWE, they do a show called Extreme Rules. Every year they've been doing it.
Or even Hell in a Cell. That's the crescendo.
Hell in a Cell is a match that's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
We have a match in CZW called the Cage of Death. That is the oh my God, where guys are made in that. Guys become stars. Mick Foley, perfect example. He took a header off a 20-foot high Hell in a Cell through a table and then came back.
Right.
Guys like that, CZW, it's the same kind of aspect. It's just that with the audience and obviously WWE's on TV and things, they can't take it to the extreme because they're handcuffed by sponsors and promoters. We're on the independents. We're only handcuffed by what the states and the buildings will allow us to do.
So I want to back up a little bit. And you wrestled for many, many years. What made you get into the promotion end?
It's a story, but I'll try to.
We're looking out here in the camera, and we have a memory card in the camera here.
We'll try to keep this short.
We got to do the shorthand version, unfortunately.
Basically, Bill, I got into the business because I love it. I don't do this for money or that's a good part of it. I do this because I love it. I'll sleep in the ring. I will do anything to wrestle. I'm crazy. I love that being in the ring, but I love being in the business. I love being around guys like Sami Callihan and Adam Cole and Black G's and Masai. I love this business, and I know I'm getting older. I've done a lot of stuff, and in this business, you're only going to be on top for so long. You're only going to be able to do this for so long, whether it's attrition, your body, or the fans really just don't care. I don't want to be that guy that's just like, 60 years old trying to stay in the business the best way I can.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty smart. I've trained a lot of guys that have, I have a couple of my students that are in Florida Championship Wrestling right now. I have a couple of guys that I've had a lot of influence on. Like I know you've done interviews with Adam Cole. I personally have trained that guy, and that's a great example of things. Those are the guys that are going to carry my legacy. When I bought the company, it was...
Now you bought it from Zandig.
John Zandig, yes. When I bought the company, I said, how...
John, I remember when you first started the company, so it's good to see it's in great hands.
Yes. When I bought CZW, it was a matter of, I knew in my head that eventually I was going to do my own thing. Why not do something with a company I love, that's my home, that I took a lot of work and pride, I've bled, I sweat, I've done all the work, and it had an instant fan base, and it's also a top independent wrestling company that gets to run, in the ECW arena and shows around the world. And
you traveled to Rome, and
I've been to Japan. I will be doing.
I meant to say Italy, not just Rome.
I've been to Japan. I'll be making my 12th tour over there in December. I've been to England. We're doing a tour in England. All of Europe will start in England and end in Germany in 2 weeks, where we leave at the end of October.
Now, this all depends upon when you're watching this.
That's true.
They may be back by now, so hope you enjoyed the show.
We leave the 25th, and we'll be back November 5th, yes, of October. But that's something that most guys in this business can't say they've got to do, and I've been very fortunate to do that, and that's what I want to do. I've promoted shows in probably about 15 states now. We're doing something huge on the independents called WrestleCon, WrestleMania weekend.
Yes, that will be in New Jersey. Go to WrestleCon.com. And by the way, I will be there also at a table saying hello to everybody. And bring your old pro wrestling magazines. I'm signing them for free.
Where we'll have something like that. That's something that I wanted to be a part of, and something I wanted to organize. Meeting guys like you and a lot of other people in this business is something that I always wanted to be a part of. The backstage part of it, I've actually been doing a lot of it at CZW for longer than I've owned the company. It was just a matter of, hey, let's do this. And then the things I was really taught in the business, when I bought the company, really started to click.
Yeah, you knew why somebody did something to you. It finally made sense.
Pretty much. I'm not a very well-liked person as far as fans go. I'm usually predominantly the bad guy, and people don't like me for whatever reason. But
I like him.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But when you have a guy like Sami Callihan, who at one point in CZW literally slit a dude's wrist in a storyline, and now is one of the most beloved guys in all of independent wrestling. 2 years ago, he started feuding with me. and they hate me and they love him, and that's what wrestling was about. Emotion sells, and you know,
that's what CZW is all about. Now, where can fans, of course, connect with CZW? The website address is?
You can go to czwrestling.com. You can get us on our official Facebook page at www.czw Wrestling Official, or it's Combat Zone Official, I'm sorry, on Facebook. Or you can follow us on Twitter at Combat Zone. You can go to hybrident.tv for all of our shows. All of our pay-per-views are there. And among other places, you can pick us up at highspots.com, SmartMark Video, rfvideo.com, and we're all over the place. We're doing lots of business with a lot of different places.
And again, you fans in Europe, look out, because CZW is coming your way.
That's true. We have a lot of business relationships over there. WXW in Germany,
yes.
Fight Club Pro and Southside Wrestling in England, and Big Japan Pro Wrestling in Japan.
So we can say that DJ is not going to hide from you, right? You got to check him out, and everybody else at CZW, go to the website, follow them on Twitter, and thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Bill.
At the Fox and Hound.
The great Fox and Hound.
King of Prussia, PA.
King of Prussia, PA.
Yeah.
And we hope to be back here soon.
Yeah, let's go eat, okay?
That sounds great.
We'll see you here at the Fox and Hound and at the ranches.